Welcome back to At The Van Wezel. I'm Mary Bensel, Executive Director, and as I promised, we have a special guest, and a guest that I'm so excited to have. We have the new CEO of the Sarasota Performing Arts Foundation, Tania Catroverde Moskalenko. How did I do with that name?
That was perfect.
Oh, good, because I was worried. So Tania, the foundation has been without a CEO for almost a year, and so you're on board, and you must be getting overwhelmed with everything all at once.
It feels like that movie, Everything Everywhere, all at
does
once.
it?
Yes, it does feel like that. We were very lucky that our board chair, Jim Travers, did step in as interim CEO.
Right.
For almost a year, so that was really wonderful thing for him to do. But I am delighted to be here. I've been here now.
No more than me.
Nobody more than you. I've been here on the ground now for about 6 weeks.
Wow.
And it has been a lot to take in.
I
but
bet.
That's the way it is when you start a new position, and especially in a new community.
And in the middle of a season, too, theatrically.
That's right.
It's not like you started in the summer, in the slow months,
That's
and
right.
so forth. But before we launch into what your plans are for the this new venue that everybody in town is talking about, tell us a little bit about your background. I know you have an artistic background as well as a management background.
Yes, thank you, Mary. So I do have an artistic background. I trained as a ballet dancer many years
Wow.
ago, and so I danced some in Miami. I went to college and did study dance, theater, dance, and music. And after college, I decided to go down the administrative route. I figured that the career of an administrator was a lot longer than the career
Absolutely.
of a dancer.
Well, a dancer is shorter. I wanted to be an actress, and I sort of did what you did and then went along to the administrative side too. But I know you focused a lot on fundraising.
So during my time as I started my career as an administrator, obviously encompassing everything from programming and education, marketing, sales,
Yep.
I realized very quickly that fundraising was a big part of what nonprofit arts organizations do. Not all arts organizations, but certainly the nonprofit arts organizations rely heavily in this country on contributed revenue. So it was really important to hone my skills and experience in fundraising. And so over the last 25 years, I have been in several roles, either as executive director, president, CEO, but fundraising has always been part of what I do.
Well, and I know your heart is so into this business. I think people should know a little bit. You're originally from Cuba, is that correct? And
Correct.
I know you had a very dramatic story of coming here. And
well, my family came over in the late 60s during President Johnson's freedom flights. So I always like to underscore how young I was in the late 60s. But our family did come in the freedom flight, so we arrived as political refugees to the United States and settled in Miami, Florida, like many Cubans did.
Yep.
So my parents immediately got to work to fulfill the American dream, and after 2 years of being here, they purchased a home. And I tell the story of how when the truck arrived with the furniture, and I do remember that morning, that Saturday morning.
I bet you do.
I do. The first thing that came out of that truck was a piano. And so I don't even recall knowing that my mother was a pianist.
Really?
Until that moment.
Oh my gosh.
So, again, I really was very young. And so 2 years in the United States, just my parents working all the time. And so I didn't really realize my mother was a pianist until that day. And after all the furniture was put in its place, my mom sat down to play the piano and just really was overcome by emotion. And so I knew at that moment what the arts can do.
Music was part of your life from the very beginning, it seems like.
That's right.
And that's fabulous. And I think something that's really important for people to know is that Tania and I are planning to be great partners on building this new performing arts Hall Center, because it's a joint project between the city. It's a public-private partnership. So you've had a chance now to meet some of the people on the city staff and Paradis Group, who's working with the architects, and Renzo Piano. You've had a chance to see, I assume, some of his work.
Yes.
And I was on the architect selection committee, and it was so exciting to see what we had in store for us. So one thing that people don't understand, because the Sarasota Performing Arts Foundation was formerly the Van Wezel Foundation, they support our education programs, a huge supporter, I mean, to the tune of over $600,000 a year, have also supported us capital. When I first got here, they bought us a new Steinway grand piano, which was fabulous, and have helped us a lot with capital. And so we are working together with some great education initiatives, but I know that's one of your passions too.
It is, and the reason that it is because as an immigrant to the United States, as I talked a little bit about my journey, we did not have the financial means to attend performances and go to concerts and go to theater. So growing up, I did not have access to that. So because I didn't have access, and back in the 70s, again, I'm dating myself, but there was a program on NPR called Adventures with Good Music, or Adventures in Good Music, with Carl Haas, which you can still probably YouTube and listen to some of the episodes. But Carl Haas used to come on the radio and play the great works of music, and that was what I got to listen to because we couldn't afford to go to a concert hall.
Well, give me a brief update on the new center, and then we're going to have you back to talk about education.
So we are, the foundation expanded its mission to not only support Van Wezel's education programs, but also to create a new performing arts center. It's right here in pretty much the same property.
Yep.
And so we are currently working, the city is the one that is negotiating the agreement with the architect, and we are working on a business plan because it's not just important to build the performing arts.
You have to operate it, right?
But we have to do what Mary's been doing for the past 17 years, and we have to operate it sustainably and profitably, or at least break even.
Break even.
Right?
That's the goal in nonprofit.
That's
is to break even.
To break even. And so we look forward to working with you along the way as we embark on this journey. It's
Absolutely.
a big vision, and it's a vision that will take a number of years to fulfill. And we look forward to being together down the path of this journey.
That's great. And we're going to have Tania back to talk about education and other initiatives. And I know we have to run now, but you gave a presentation to the Purple Ribbon Committee, which is also looking into things that will be possible to do here at the Van Wezel. You know, when the new theater opens, this venue could be one of many things on the Bayfront properties. So
that's right. And I do want to say that having led National Historic Landmarks and buildings and facilities that have been around for a long time, I'm a huge supporter of our legacies. And I do believe in the legacy of the Van Wezel, and that we should honor that as a community.
We have to, because it's been such a grand lady of the theater here. Well, we will be back in just a minute. As I told you, we could have talked all day, and we'll be back to talk a little bit more at the Van Wezel.